I just wrapped up a short trip on Wonder of the Seas. There were things I absolutely loved about this ship, and a few things I actually didn't love so much. This was a big ship with a lot to see. Some of it was great, and some of it was not. Hi, I'm Brad with Brad on Board, and this is my list of the things I loved and hated while on board Wonder of the Seas.
If you're new to the channel, I'm Brad. My goal is to help you get more out of every cruise with honest ship tours, guides, and real-world tips so you know exactly what to expect before you sail. If you'd like more videos like this to help plan your next cruise, hit subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. Let's dive right in.
I know hate is a bit of a strong word, especially for a trip I genuinely enjoyed. So let's start off on a positive note and talk about how much I loved the food. Every single meal we had was good or better than expected. The main dining room was a pleasant surprise with great food and good service. And the specialty restaurants really impressed me. From having a cocktail made tableside at 150 Central Park to the great clam chowder we had at Hooked Seafood. There really wasn't a single meal where I walked away disappointed. And for quick bites, Park Cafe was a sleeper hit. With our cabin being on Deck 8, right around the corner from Central Park, it made it our go-to. On our CocoCay day, we skipped the buffet completely and just grabbed breakfast here. Fast, easy, and never crowded. Now onto something I hated, and it was something that was back in the cabin. If you've watched my previous video, I talked about whether or not I thought this cabin suited a short trip like this. And, no spoilers, you're gonna have to go watch that video on your own to find out. But one aspect that annoyed me was this bathroom and closet layout. The bathroom door swings out right into the same space as the closet door when it's opened. And I actually got my finger caught in there a couple of times. It's just a frustrating design choice in a space that you're going to use multiple times a day. Now back to something we enjoyed. One of my favorite parts of this ship was the live entertainment. There was a great atmosphere and really good live music in places like the Schooner Bar, Boleros, and Cask and Clipper. And on top of that, I loved how many smaller venues there were. It made it easy to find quiet corners that weren't busy, even on a big ship like this. I'm always a fan of small, cozy spaces where you can sit and relax, and this ship had them. Now on the flip side, we need to talk about the elevator situation. I hated it. There were many times where people were just gathered and waiting and waiting. We were lucky that we could take the stairs, but if you have mobility issues, this is going to be a real problem. Newer ships use those smarter destination elevators, and you can really feel the difference here. And related to that, I also wasn't a big fan of how the Royal Promenade was used for various events. Things like line dancing would block off half the floor, and with the big Christmas tree up, there sometimes just was no easy way to get through. That might be a holiday season problem, but it definitely impacted the flow. Central Park, on the other hand, was a huge loved it for me, especially at night. We spent a lot of time here just enjoying the gardens and the peaceful atmosphere. In the mornings, you get those bird chirping sounds, and at night, you've got this soft lighting and music. On a ship this big, having a space this calm and natural is pretty special. I took my computer out here on one afternoon and did some work, and I really enjoyed it. For another loved it item, I really appreciated the mocktail options on board. They weren't just an afterthought, and they really tasted great. There was this blueberry mojito that we kept going back to. If you don't drink alcohol or you just want something fun without the buzz, Royal Caribbean does a good job here. And these are included in the regular refreshment package if you're thinking about skipping the alcohol package to save some money. Another item I absolutely loved was the Aqua Theater. This show was one of the best performances I've ever seen on a cruise ship. This was high-level talent, incredible use of space, just fun, an intense show, and a lot of fun to watch. Just make sure you get your reservations early for the best seats. And zooming out a little bit, as someone with a strong interest in cruise ships in general, I have been sailing on them since I was a kid, I loved just marveling at this giant ship. The fact that a massive floating city like this can exist and feel as stable and complex as it does, it's just one of the big reasons I love cruising. Wonder of the Seas is a technical and engineering showcase. Now, one thing I didn't really love so much was how hard it was to see the water. I know this is a common complaint on these Oasis Class ships, and I definitely felt it here. Even on Deck 5, the running track and the promenade, it can be tough to get a clear view of the ocean. Aft wake views like these are easy, but overall, connection to the sea is limited, and to me, that's a really important part to taking a cruise. We were lucky to at least have a balcony on this cruise, but if you didn't have that, your only option was to walk to the very back of the ship to hope to see some views of the water. And finally, and honestly, I hated how short this cruise was. I know a lot of people say that at the end of their cruise, but 3 days is just not enough time for a ship this size. You barely get to scratch the surface. That's not the ship's fault, but if you're booking Wonder, I'd strongly recommend a longer itinerary so you can actually enjoy everything. So overall, I loved the food, the entertainment, Central Park, the engineering marvel that Wonder of the Seas is, but I did hate the cabin layout and spots, the elevator situation, some of the crowd flow on the promenade deck, and how hard it was to really connect to the ocean, and also the fact that this was a short cruise. If you've sailed Wonder before, what did you love and what did you hate? Drop your experiences in the comments, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'll also link here my recent video review of the weekend I spent on board if you'd like to check that out. And if you like honest, detailed cruise reviews and ship walkthroughs, hit subscribe. I've got more cruise content on other ship reviews coming up soon. Thanks, and I'll see you on board again soon.